Now, you were in court. You know President Trump. Did he appear rattled at any point when those verdicts came through and the 34 guilties? Did you sense that he felt fear or despair?
This man is quite remarkable. I've never seen him show fear since I've known him since, 2015. Look, he said something quite moving that day. He said that I am prepared to go to prison because the U.S. Constitution is more important than my liberty. What person says that? I mean, let alone what politician? He says, I'm doing this for all of you. It's not about me. And he's right. I mean, Donald Trump, without any question, is the most famous man in the world. He's a billionaire. He's a person who's escorted 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by Secret Service agents carrying fully automatic weapons. That man is very clear about one thing. If they can do it to him, they can do it to any American. And that's why he will never, ever stop. And as he said last Thursday, standing in that dingy corridor under that neon lighting, the real verdict will be on November the 5th when the American people speak.
Well, this lawfare, there are now debates happening amongst conservatives. Some say Republicans must take the high road. They can't play these dirty games that the Democrats have played. And others say, no, this is the only way to deal with this strategy is to throw it back at them. And there's suggestions, if you want to talk about election interference, what about that letter that was signed by 51 national security experts? Where did that letter originate from? Who had a hand in crafting it? Those 51 security experts who claimed that Hunter Biden's laptop and all the information contained within it about the Biden family was Russian disinformation. That came out right before the 2020 election to discredit that New York Post story. And you could argue very easily that was a clear case of election interference. Did the likes of the Biden campaign, Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken, did they have any hand in spreading that message? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think the Republicans are going to go after Joe Biden, go after Hillary Clinton and other Democrats as they've gone against their ideological opponents?
Well, first things first, we know who orchestrated that. It is Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, and Mike Morrell. Mike Morrell has confessed under testimony in front of the House of Representatives as acting director of the CIA, which should be a completely non-political position. He orchestrated the signatures of those 51 former CIA directors and intelligence officers to lie about the Hunter Biden laptop, which we now know is true. The photographs, the video, the prostitutes, the guns, the cocaine, it's all real. And they said, oh, this is a Russian disinformation. That's the acting director of the CIA. That is the definition of the deep state. Now, what are the Republicans going to do? Now, first things first, they're not going to go after their political, ideological opponents, because then we sink to the gutter of those who believe that the state is there as a political weapon. What we must go after, not politically, but in the terms of justice, is those who have committed crimes. If you worked in the Trump administration and leaked secret documents to the Washington Post, to the CNN, you committed a felony. If you're Jim Comey, former director of the FBI, if you're James Clapper, John Brennan, director of the DIA and the CIA, you affected the illegal surveillance of a presidential candidate. It's Operation Crossfire Hurricane. You use the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world as a political tool. You must be charged with abuse of power, and you must stand in a dock and answer for your crimes and be judged by a jury of your peers. So, unless we restore faith in our institutions, I mean, the biggest, President Trump is doing great. He's raised $200 million in the last 72 hours. I mean, never before seen since the verdict. But God willing, if we have a free and fair election, he will be reelected and he will be the president, whether he's convicted or not. But the bigger problem is this, Rita. On Thursday, tens of millions of Americans lost complete and utter faith in the judicial system and the organs of the state that have the power to imprison. That takes much longer than one election to fix. tens of millions of Americans say, hang on a second, the FBI, the DOJ, the state of New York, if they don't like my face, if they don't like my politics, they can put me in prison for years. That's the real damage done to the republic, and that has been done by the Democrats.